Hey guys, welcome back to Sweet Creek Thrift. My name is Candy if you're new here, and today I have a what's sold video. I am going to be sharing with you guys the items that sold on Poshmark and eBay over the first week of June. So it's going to be from the 1st to the 8th of June. And then it's not that many items, as you can see. It's just these tabs here, so I'm just going to do a quick video. I am going to break it up by week, and it is a slower month for me. It's been pretty slow for the last week, so I think if I break it up, it'll make these videos really short, so it's much easier to watch on your time. And so I'm gonna just go through, it's just like 8 items. So if you are interested, if you're a reseller or if you are interested in this sort of thing, I do resell on Poshmark and eBay. I do pick stuff up at various places like Goodwills, thrift stores, garage sales if I happen to go to them, things like that. And then if I find something that looks like I can flip it and make a little bit of money, and then I do, and you'll see where I purchased items from, how much I paid for them, and how much I sold them for. And of course how long it took and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna jump right in, and then hopefully we can get through and do a really quick video, and then I'll do another one for the next week. But this way it gets me quicker videos to put up on my YouTube channel. So the first item is this Merrell trail glove for men's size 13 and in the US, and Vibram barefoot low running shoes. So I did find these at Goodwill. I saw the Vibram sole, so I really inspect the item pretty well at the store. I did notice a small flaw when I was showing them on my thrift haul video for this particular date, and I will show that to you when I get to it. But I do try to do a pretty good inspection on any shoes, and I do the bend test. I put my hand in and I feel where the toes are at, so I try to make sure there's no like holes where the toes go and things like that. So I try to make sure that they're in decent condition and that they're well usable. So there's the logo there, and then here's the really minor, it looks like it kind of like just the material got rubbed off a little bit right there at the edge, or like kind of like a slice in a way. So it probably hit like a rock or something if somebody was trail running. So, but that was really the only issue with these shoes. Everything else about them were still in excellent condition. So this particular item I picked up at Goodwill. I picked it up April 13th this year, and I paid $2.24. So they were half price. Interestingly, the Goodwill that I went to is my new one, and they usually price stuff up pretty high for shoes, but I guess they just don't realize that the Merrell shoes can do pretty good. So I picked this up. I ended up paying $2.25. I posted it to Poshmark and eBay on April 23rd, and it sold on Poshmark on June 1st. So it only took about a month and a half or so, and it sold for $40. I made a profit of $29.76. So I thought that was a good flip. The next item is this New York & Co. green leopard print puff short sleeve shirt, size medium. And as you can see, it has those like little puff sleeves, and super cute style. Leopard print's kind of in, but this was like a green camo looking one in a way, because it had more of a green and black aesthetic colorway. So I thought that was interesting, but I did not pick this particular item up. Nor do I know that if I would have picked it up. I mean, maybe, since I have sold it, but it took a really long time, so probably not. I would not pick this up. But I did get this from a donation. So I had $0 invested, and I posted it on November 29th of 2021 to Poshmark. So this is why I would not pick this up. So, okay, tell myself, Candy, do not pick this up if I ever see it. Do not. So I did post it on eBay on January 22nd of 2024. And then, so it was on Poshmark, and then I posted it several years later onto eBay, because that's when I started actively posting stuff to eBay as well. And it sold on Poshmark. So it sold on June 2nd of 25 for $15, and I did earn a profit of $12 since I had zero cost of goods, and there was a $3 seller's fee for Poshmark fee. And then the next item is another, like I said, if I find something that I think I can flip, I might pick it up depending on how I'm feeling that day. I decided to try this out. I've seen how people like flip like seasonal items that have since sold out. So I picked several of these up. So if you're looking for one of this particular scents, packs, I have 2 more posted, and I picked 3 of these chapsticks up. It's a 3-pack fall collection. So it has apple pie, salted caramel, and vanilla latte. And I just grabbed them when I was at Walmart. I happened to walk by them and see that they were a fall pack, and it is like spring, summer. So I knew that it was past the season for that. So it makes them a little bit harder to find fall items. So like in the fall, I don't know that I would pick up fall, but like spring, summertime, if you find fall or winter items, maybe pick those up and post them, because there's people that like really like certain flavoring scents, and then they're willing to sometimes pay up. And interestingly, this one I think is actually going international. Went to the United Kingdom, which is another interesting situation. So I picked this up at Walmart on April 13th this year. I paid $3.88, so I think it was full price. And then, or I think it said clearance, but I don't know, that $3.88 seems like the normal price. But anyways, I posted it on eBay only, and I posted it April 21st of 25. And it sold on eBay June 2nd. Sold for $12.74 plus shipping. So I made a profit of $6.32 after my investment and fees and everything. So I thought that was a pretty good, like, just like a filler item flip, just to make a little bit more money. And so I might keep picking up seasonal items after the season's over, which I think would be interesting to do. Or pick them up during the season if you get a really good price. But if you can find them on clearance when the season's over, that would be the time to pick them up, in my opinion. The next item is Adriana Papel dress, size 16. And I put fuchsia, hot pink, pencil, midi, feminine, ruffle, and rose. Those are all the keywords I used in the title. So I was trying to like help people find like the dress if they were looking for something like this. This is totally Barbie core too. Very, very bright pink and beautiful, and it was quality. Like, this was a nice layered or lined item that somebody can wear to work or to a nice fancy like church, or to, I was thinking church, but I was thinking like a fancy like event, like a wedding. This would be a perfect wedding guest dress, something like that. So, but it was really pretty, and the color I really like. As you know, I like pink. So this item I picked up at Goodwill on December 28th of 24 last year, and I paid $5. I'm pretty sure it was half price. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. I paid $5, and I posted it January 17th to Poshmark and eBay of this year, and it sold June 3rd on Poshmark for $35, and that gave me profit after the sales fee, which was $7 on Poshmark, and then my $5 that I had invested. That brings me to my profit of $23. Of course, I still have to take tax out. So, and I do 25% for tax. So when I deposit money into my bank, so when Poshmark, and I send it to my bank, and then I do eBay and I send it to, and well, eBay just does it for me automatically. But once it goes into my bank, after I have so many accumulated, then what I have been doing is I have a separate bank account for my tax money. So I will essentially transfer 25% of my profits into my tax account. So that way, when I'm ready to pay my taxes, I will have already accumulated up that portion of it. So everything you see when I say profit, it's before I pay taxes or pay myself. So I've been trying to be pretty consistent about paying myself out of the profits as well. So that way I'm not spending it all, reinvesting it back into the business. So essentially I do 50% as myself, 25% to taxes, and then I take 25% and invest it back into buying more items to resell. So that's kind of how I do it, and I think it will work pretty well for me as I grow my business. Occasionally I will end up going to like I'm planning to go to the Goodwill bins in 2 days. I'm so excited. So I'm going to go to the Goodwill bins on Friday. Today is Wednesday, and I had today off. I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then of course I have my weekends off, and then I have Monday off work. So I actually have several days off, and the goal is to ultimately get my walls painted, but I don't know that we're going to get the walls painted in here this week. We might, but I can't promise that. It's like I have to remove my whole desk right here, take everything out, and then we have to still mud behind the desk here and fix the walls. And then we're gonna have to texture. We also wanna put canned ceiling lights in, so that's gonna take several hours. And of course then texturing, and then we have to wait for that to dry and then painting. And at the same time, our water heater has been slowly dying. So this weekend on Friday, when I go to the bins, my husband's gonna go with me because it's like an hour and a half-ish. We're gonna go about an hour and a half away, and then from the bins, he's gonna come in and hang out with me. And then when he gets bored, because he will, then he's gonna go over to Home Depot or Lowe's or somewhere and pick up what we need to finish the water heater situation. We already switched out from a water heater with a tank to a tankless, so we already have that. But he's working on running the lines because we decided to shift our washer dryer over to a different wall while we're in the middle of this process. And so it's gonna be interesting, but he's got it all figured out, but he has to go pick up some more items to finish the project. And so he's gonna go do that while I'm doing the bins, because I could spend hours and hours at the bins. So that would give me time to do that, and then he can kind of, when he's bored, go do that. So anyways, that's kind of the plan, and I don't know where I was going with that. But anyways, I'm really excited to be doing that this week. And so my thought was I was gonna say something, but I don't remember why I even went on that tangent. So I'm just gonna go back to where I was at, and if I think of it, I'll tell you. But so I think that was a good flip. The next item is Danny and Nicole dress, women's 6P, petite black, and I put flowy, midi, and flutter sleeve. And so this item was a donated item. I didn't just go look this one up or pick it up, but it was a nice dress, and I decided to go ahead and get that posted and see if it would sell. And it just had some kind of like asymmetrical like layering going down the front, so I just thought it was pretty. This also would make like a good like formal wedding dress, funeral dress, like any kind of special event like that. So this item I had $0 invested, and I did post it on October 29th of 24 to Poshmark and eBay, and it sold on Poshmark on June 5th for $15, and so I made a profit of $12 after the $3 fee again. And then the next item is this Under Armour jacket, women's medium, Texas Tech embroidered logo, and 1923 patch gray. And I picked these up because my daughter goes to Texas Tech, and they did have their 100th year celebration in 2023, which was the year that my daughter decided to go to Texas Tech, which was kind of interesting, like around 23, 24. And then we saw the 100th when we went to the state fair in Texas. I think it was she went to school there, 24, 25 was her freshman year. And so we went to the fair, I think it was last summer, and they had the whole 100th year logo sign, like a big stand-up sign at the fair, which was pretty cool. So I got a picture of her with it, and anyways, I just thought it was kind of cool that she ended up going right after their 100th year. So I picked this up. I have been picking up, I knew it was Under Armour, so it's a good brand. It does have the collegiate, the Texas Tech logo right here embroidered on the front. And then down here at the bottom has this patch. I'm sure I have a better picture, but let's see if it'll show. And it has the reflective strip right here, and then the thumb holes down here at the end. So it's kind of athletic-y, maybe a jogger's situation, I'm not sure, but there's the tag, the patch that was on it. So I figured somebody would like this particular item. It was the Under Armour loose, and it's a cold gear, size medium. And I had a gal that kept going back and forth with me on the price, and I finally went ahead and just, we finally settled on a price, but she did go back and forth with me quite a bit. But anyways, I picked it up at Goodwill on April 19th, and I paid $4.30. I posted it on Poshmark and eBay on May 22nd. Interesting, it took me a month to get it posted. And then I'm trying to do that not as much. I'm trying to be really careful and try to get most of my stuff out and not have it sit for so long. And then I sold it on Poshmark on June 6th for $20, which I went ahead and just took 20. I went back to see how much I paid for the item, and then that determined whether I was going to accept the offer. And so I was going to be able to make a little bit of money, so I decided to go ahead and accept it because it is a slow month. So my sales fee was $4 on Poshmark for this item, and with that, and then the $4.30 I had invested, I earned a profit of $11.70, and it's off to its new home. And then the next item is this Knox Rose peasant tiered long poet sleeve embroidered maxi dress, size large. Okay, so there's the embroidery along the front, and it's like a purplish maroon purple I don't know what you call it, burgundy, probably kind of like a burgundy color. And it had like these like poety like sleeves at the end where it does that whole like little bell sleeve flare out at the wrist. And then it had pockets, which was really nice. It was Knox Rose, and it did take a really long time to sell. It's also 100% rayon, which I think would be a nice like material. So I did go ahead and pick it up when I found it for just multiple reasons, but the main one being that I picked it up at the Goodwill bins. So, and this item I did pick up November 10th of 23. So it sat for a while before it sold. My average cost that day was only $1.27, which is why I like going to the bins, is because my costs are not $5 or $7 or $10. It's like $1 or $2 per item. So it really makes it worth going. And so I'm really happy that I get to go this week. So this item I posted November 30th of 23 to Poshmark and eBay, and then it finally sold June 7th of 25. So it took like a year and a half to sell, and it sold for $15, and I made a profit of $10.73. Would I pick it up if it was at the bins again? Yes. And even at a regular store, I would probably consider picking it up because I know maxi dresses that are like the boho peasant-y can do well. But knowing that this took so long to sell, I'm not sure. Because I'm not sure why it took so long. I don't know if it's just this particular style wasn't as desirable. Maybe it's the coloring, the color that's not as desirable. I'm not really sure. Could be the long sleeves, the poet sleeves. Like, it's definitely going to need the right person for it. But yeah, I'm really happy that it is going to, well, that it's sold and that it's gone. And so I don't know if I'd pick it up again. I would think about it hardcore if I was going to find it again. The next item is by Fairhope, and let's go look it up. Okay, so this one is a midi dress, so like it goes below the knees, but it does have that like ruffle hem going on, and it was size medium. Sorry you guys, my throat is like I will clear it, but I'm not sure what's going on. So it's a size medium jumper, large patchwork, plaid, tiered ruffle, and I put cottagecore. It very much was like a cottagecore aesthetic. So for me, I thought that somebody out there would really like the colorway. It's also got a lot of like the red, white, and blue. This would be perfect for like the 4th of July, summertime, and it was 100% cotton. So it's also got really good material. And then it had this button detail on the upper back. So really cute. So like right here on the back side is this really tiny buttons, and I thought that was adorable. So here's the logo or the tag, and I picked this up at Goodwill on February 5th this year. I paid $9.99. I did comps in the store. I do remember doing comps in the store, and I knew I could sell it for more, which is why I went ahead and picked it up for that price. Otherwise, I would have been a little bit more picky if I didn't think it would sell. But I did post it on February 26th of Poshmark and eBay. It sold on June 8th on Poshmark for $42, and I made a profit of $23.61 after my $10 investment and the $8.40 that they took as a fee. So I was really happy to see that go. And then the last item, you guys, is this Bila red floral kimono wrap women's medium large cardigan, boho hippie summer. Those are like the keywords that I put in the title. And as you can see, it's really cute. It has lots of colors, colorful going on. And this brand seems to sell pretty well for me. I would consider it, as people say, bread and butter. It does say medium large right here, ML. And so I do pick it up, especially if it's got a good style or something going for it. And I knew with the colorway, and I knew like these wraps, especially in the summer, that this one would probably do pretty well. And it did flip pretty quick. So I was really happy to see that go. It also had like that crinkle rayon. I don't know if you can tell in the photos. There's a closer up photo, so you can kind of see that like crinkle rayon going on. So this one I picked up at Goodwill on April 19th. I paid $4.59, and I posted it on May 22nd to Poshmark and eBay both, and it sold on eBay June 8th, and it sold for $26.99 plus shipping, and that gave me a profit of $17.59. So far for the first week in June, I have a total net profit of $146.71, and I'll do my whole totals at the end of each week, so you'll see how much I've been earning. But I will say, like I said, it's been pretty slow. I don't know if this month is going to pick up very much. I had one sale go out today. I had 0 go out yesterday. I do pretty much ship the next day, so I'm pretty much on top of my shipping, and yeah. And most of the weekends up until this past weekend, I get like 5 or 6 orders, and this last weekend was really dead. So I'm not sure like how it's gonna go, but I did just start posting like a bunch of like computer stuff because my husband decided to, well, we're building computers since the whole Microsoft shutdown thing. So he's building his computer, and then I decided that I'm gonna need a computer too, because not the whole Microsoft shutdown, but like, you know, they're shutting down like Windows 10. So you're kind of being forced to switch to Windows 11 if you use that kind of computer. So my computer that I'm using right now, as you know, if you watch me for any length of time, if I put up too many tabs, it starts to freeze. So it was nice that I switched it to like a 1-week video, because I don't have so many tabs open, and I don't have to hit back on just the Poshmark stuff, which I've been doing for a couple weeks. But I decided I'm gonna also build a computer. So we have been building our computers, and mine is pink, but we basically have been selling off PlayStation stuff. So I have the PlayStation for sale as like a whole bundle with the remotes and everything, and then also like computer parts that we don't need anymore. So I did just post a DDR for like a memory stick this morning. So I'm just posting those sort of things. The video games I posted, I sold 2 video games overnight last night, but they're really cheap ones, so they're not going to be worth much. But I sold 2 video games last night, so there's things selling, but it's just like few and far between at the moment. So anyways, I could ramble on and on. I'm just going to try to get off here so you don't have to watch a few minutes of me rambling. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you're new here, please consider hitting subscribe if you want to watch my next What Sold video, or any of my thrift haul videos that will be coming up. And I do a lot of shorts. So I do every item that I sell as, or almost every item that I sell as a short. So that way, if you like to kind of see those as they pop up throughout, I am kind of like a month behind on shorts, but that's okay. It gives me something to post every day. So I like doing that. But yeah, anyways, I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.